took me to a group of men and women and introduced them to me. Some were his business associates and others who work in his company. I was not much interested in their talks and looked around the place. There I saw Dad and Julia standing at a corner and talking to Aaron's dad and a man who has his arms wrapped around Lahaina's waist. The man's back was turned towards me so I couldn't see his face, but he looked familiar. Too familiar. Then he turned as another man approached them and my world stopped. Aaron was with my family, with his arms around Lahaina and she was leaning into him. He didn't look uncomfortable. Rather it looked he was happy with her. A pang of jealousy hit me as I stood there numb. Dylan must have felt me stiffen because he whispered slowly in my ear, "You okay?" I just looked at him and gave him a small fake smile. Then Aaron saw me. He looked at me staring at him but diverted his gaze after a few seconds. After some time he whispered something in Lahaina's ear to which she smiled and nodded, giving her hand in his large ones. He took her with him to the dance floor and they started to dance. He looked at me one more time before turning around and dancing with her. I felt ignored. Betrayed. He was the one because of whom I came here. He was the one who asked me to come and now he is doing this to me. Tears welled up my eyes but I controlled myself, not wanting to cry in a party and not wanting to show him how much it affected me. I pity him. I heard Dylan's voice. I turned to face him and realized he was also looking at them. I gave him a confused look and he chuckled. "That Aaron Woodwords," he said, gesturing towards Aaron, "with your gold digger sister. Nice couple," he said sarcastically. I didn't say anything and just looked at them dancing and smiling. "Well, I know him because of our business and looks like he found his match." Dylan laughed and my heart pained more. Then he again turned to talk to his friends while I just stood there staring at the duo. Lahaina was literally pushing herself into him and doing her dirty dance. Aaron didn't look at me for once, as if completely forgetting I was here and that he was the one who requested I attend. After a few minutes Dylan asked me for dance and I denied with a straight face. He knew something was wrong but I was in no state to talk. I just wanted to go back home, to curl up in a ball and cry my heart out. "Caro, you're not fine. What is it? If you want we can leave," Dylan said in a concerned tone. "Yes please," I answered finally. I looked at Aaron for the last time and what I saw broke my heart into a million pieces. They were kissing. Lahaina and Aaron kissed. They were standing so close. Too close to even let air escape between their bodies. I felt like I would cry at that instant but I didn't. Turning towards Dylan I walked out with him, pacifying myself by thinking it was bound to happen. But it wasn't working. I want to cry but not yet. Hello friends. So, how was the chapter? Good or bad? Poor Caroline. She gets hurt every time. Any ship names for Aaron and Lahaina? And can you guys help me with the cast? For maybe Caroline, Aaron, Dylan, Nadia, Lahaina and James? Well, don't forget to vote, comment and share. Love, Blooming Rose 18. Chapter 13. Marry her, Mr. Woodward's Aaron's POV. A week earlier, after a long cold shower that helped me calm myself, I decided it was time to pay Dad a visit. I put on a casual black V-neck t-shirt and my blue denims. Taking my car keys and sunglasses, I walked out of the penthouse. While driving, all my thoughts were about just one person. Caroline. I will definitely have to do something about it. I spend too much time just thinking of her. Her face, her beauty, her pretty eyes. I can't let someone take control over me that way. But thinking about her gives me peace. An unwanted, unknowing, unusual peace. I stopped the car outside Dad's mansion and went in. My father lives here alone. After Mom's death he excluded himself from the rest of the world. He never liked this place but Mom did, and he lives here now because it has memories. I took out my phone from my pocket and dialed his number. He picked up after the second ring. "Where are you?" I asked curtly. "We don't have a normal father-son relationship. After Mom's death he changed and so did our relationship. In my office." "Why?" He replied. "You called me," I stated, rolling my eyes. "Oh, you came. Well, come in the office," he said, and I ended the call. I moved towards his office with steady steps. There was definitely something going on with him. I can sense it easily. I opened the door to his office and saw him sitting on his chair behind a large desk, reading some papers. Just as he saw me coming he stood up with a smile that reached his eyes and motioned towards the set of couches on the right corner. "Sit, son," he said as he poured champagne in 2 glasses. My suspicion grew seeing him. He doesn't bother me much. The last time I talked to him was 2 months back when he forced me to find a bride and settle down. But today he is smiling even more. Something is wrong. Very wrong. I moved towards the couches and sat there picking up my glass and sipping it a bit. He came and sat down on another couch on my right, looking at me, as if judging my mood. What? I said, irritated when he didn't say anything. Well, son, if you remember, the last time we spoke was when I asked you to find a daughter-in-law for me. And I said I don't want to marry, at least not yet. I completed his statement. Yeah, so, did you find one? He asked hopefully. I told you that before and I'm saying it again. He cut me off. So it's a no? He asked, raising his brows. Like hell it is, I said. He got up from his place and went near his table to pick up a file. He opened it and flipped a few pages before coming back and placing it on the table in front of me. Since you know, your mother is already dead and God knows how long I'm going to live, so I want you to get married as soon as possible and make some grandchildren for me. And, I said, because I knew it didn't end yet. I have found the girl for you. I chuckled listening to him. He really thinks he'll ask me to marry any girl and I will? Never. I don't think I cracked a joke. Did I, son? Of course you did. When I say I won't marry now, I won't, and you can't do anything. Father, I said in an amused tone. I can marry her, or you will lose the 50% of the company that belongs to me, he stated, and those words made my smile go away. I stared at him with a blank face, thinking he must be just playing around, but he just picked up the file from the table and placed it in my hands. Who is she? I asked in a dead serious tone, throwing the file back on the table. My friend James' daughter, Lahaina Marshall. That made my blood boil. He really wants me to marry her? I won't marry that asshole's daughter. Just because you are not able to see what a fucking piece of shit he is, doesn't mean I will do the same. He is a bloody opportunist and that daughter of his is a gold digger. So, don't expect me to do it. I yelled, standing up from my place. Don't swear in front of your father, he said, raising his voice a bit. I have already done all the arrangements. Read the contract and then it's your wish. I looked at him with anger-filled eyes and picked up the file from the table and read it carefully. It stated that I will be marrying James Marshall's daughter Lahaina Marshall in a time span of 2 months, and if I didn't, all the part of the Woodwards corporations belonging to Ethan Woodwards will be given to James Marshall. The contract required the father's, James, signature too. It was all planned. They planned it together and I didn't get to know of it. That asshole must have planned it all. That fucking shit must have manipulated my father. I don't know why the fuck Dad trust him so much. Maybe because he was the one who was with Dad after Mom's death. He used to pay daily visits as if he really cared. But I knew better. That fuck was just acting and waiting for an opportunity to get our money. Now when he had it, he made full use of it. I want to kill that man. That bloody excuse of a man. What's your answer, son?